Good day, everyone. My name is Ofense Baloy, and today we will be diving deep into the study of paleontology. Now, the aim of this lesson is to facilitate deep learning so that everyone at the end of the day understands what I am talking about. So, today we'll be focusing on human evolution, specifically on an organism or an extinct organism called the Australopithecus africanus. Before we get into that, you should know what triggers evolution and how do we see if this particular organism has evolved, right? So, you should know as a life science student that evolution is triggered by the changing environment. For an example, if we put one person at the Antarctica, or let me rather just say it like this: if we put an animal, let's say a lion, in Antarctica and another one in the Sahara Desert, right? You should remember that these are two animals that live. They are the same animals that live in a total different environment. Now, at first, let's say we have put it 30 there and 30 here. So at first, the the lions will have to undergo through the process of natural selection. Natural selection, you're gonna have to they're gonna have to evolve in order to adapt to the changing environment. You should remember that in the Antarctica, it is always cold. It is extremely cold. So meaning weaker lions will die while the strong ones will survive and pass on their genetics, their genetic information to their offspring that will enable the offspring to survive. You should also understand this and think about this. In the Antarctica, there are no wildebeest, there are no buffaloes, there are no springboks, there is literally nothing. But we also find new predators in the Antarctica, like polar bears, that foxes. Yes, there are also foxes, and the snow leopard. You should also know that when those particular animals get there, I mean the lions, they're gonna have new rivals, new enemies. That they were used to finding hyenas as their enemies, but there they will find new enemies. They will have to adapt to living in the Antarctica, as they will have to learn how to swim in order to catch food, in order to catch seals, in order to catch deer, rabbits, and all other animals. So those animals living in the Antarctica, they will have to be forced to evolve to adapt to the changing environment. That also means even the mating season will also change, right? The mating season will also change, as there it is always cold. You will find that sometimes the lions will begin mating at least one times a year. And also we also know about this topic about animal specific courtship behavior. The courtship behavior of lions living here in South Africa and lions living there in the Antarctica will be different, as those animals have evolved differently. And if we take a lion from the Antarctica and from the Sahara Desert and force them to mate, they will not be able. Mating may or may not occur. Why am I saying this? Mating may or may not occur. The animals, they live in two different places. They are the same species, but their mating season is in a different times of the year. You will find that the mating season for lions living in the Antarctica is in summer, and for this is all year around. Yes. And also the specific courtship behavior, the way the male approaches the female lion will be different to that of living in the Antarctica and the one living in South Africa. Yes, and you will find also when we talk about physical features, the lions living in the Antarctica will have more facial hair. The male lions will have more manes, more fur, because where they live it is so cold, so extremely cold, and these ones living in South Africa will have less mane, less fur. Now, that is just a glimpse of evolution. In order to understand evolution, you should read more about you should read more about variation within a species, what makes animals to be different from one another. Yes, so like I said, today we'll be diving deep into paleontology and we will be talking about the Australopithecus africanus. Now, this is an example of the Australopithecus africanus. Now, if you look at it, it is different. It looks a bit like us, the Homo sapiens, or the proper word for Homo sapiens, which is humans. Australopithecus is an extinct species of hominid. Now, there's a difference. You should understand the difference between hominid and hominids. Hominids and hominids, they are all primates. Well, in this case, the Australopithecus africanus is a hominid, which means it is a bipedal primate. We all know bipedal primate. We can name many primates, meaning it is related to the bonobos and the chimpanzees. Those are the hominins. So this hominin once walked the earth around 3.4 million years ago, and some of these species were discovered by one of our most famous scientists in South Africa, which is some of them are Lieberger. We know many species like the Australopithecus africanus, the Australopithecus afarensis, Homo erectus, and so on. So there were transitional fossils with a brain size similar to that of chimpanzees, but with more human-like teeth and upright posture. They were bipedal. Now, if you look at this picture, this bipedal primate, it is standing on its own 2 feet. Although it is hairy, but it is standing on its own 2 feet, meaning it was able to walk on its 2 legs. Its posture, it is similar to that of us. It is in an upright posture, but the head doesn't look like humans. It looks like the chimpanzee's head. If you look at its jaws, it has a huge protruding jaws, right? A huge protruding jaws, a flattened nasal bone. That is an example of an Australopithecus africanus. So, as I say, they were bipedal primate. This feature allowed them to move efficiently across the wilderness. The Australopithecus africanus, they play a crucial role in bridging the gap between Australopithecus afarensis and Australopithecus, no, sorry. They play a crucial role in bridging the gap between Australopithecus afarensis and us, the Homo sapiens. And this bipedalism is a key adaptation in human evolution and demonstrates brain development and transitional development. If some of you never understood what transitional development means, it means a species, an animal that has both the features of an extinct ancestor and a future species that we're gonna have later. For an example, the Australopithecus africanus is a transitional fossil, meaning it was representing both us humans and the extinct human human species. Now, there's so many things we can discuss about human evolution. Some of the topics, there are so many, but due to the time, I was only given 10 minutes to make this presentation. But hopefully, maybe next time or next year, we will get to speak more about more about evolution of many parts. And as a student, you should know that you have to understand genetics, variation, how variation occurs, especially in the chromosomes, how animals are adapted to the environment, and how do they live afterwards. You should understand the laws of natural selection. Thank you very much. I enjoyed my time representing this this presentation of mine. Thank you so much. Thank you.